Hi, I'm Rob Seltzer, the Aortic Chef,
I am Mindy Seltzer, the aortic dietitian,
and welcome
welcome to
to the
the
Aortic Kitchen for another episode of our aortic cook health,
Healthy
cook
Cooking,
healthy
Aortic.
cooking the aortic way. All right. So thank you all for coming back again tonight, or those of you that are watching us later. We do appreciate it. I'll say it now and probably at the end. Be sure if you're watching, whether now or later, please hit the like button so that we show our viewership. That would be great. Tonight, we are in honor again of National Dairy Month. We are going to make some cheese. It's also part of my zero waste philosophy. So I hate throwing things away. It's terrible. In the United States, we waste over a third of the food that is we make and buy and so on in this country goes in the trash, goes to the landfill. It's terrible. So I do whatever I can, whether I was professionally in the kitchen as a chef, which also makes economic sense, or at home, which again makes economic sense. Try not to throw things away. One good skill to have is using milk that you're not finishing, that is older, whether you just have that milk and you don't want to drink it anymore, whatever. But also to save money is turn it into cheese. We're gonna do three different things with it tonight. Gonna make some kefir,
I
which
say
is
kefir.
which is yeah, that's up for discussion. And which is very simple. It's only 2 steps. And then I'm going to make a ricotta cheese out of milk, and that's only 3 steps. And then I'm also going to make cream cheese, which is 4 steps, but it's the same as ricotta, just with an extra step added to it. So it's real simple. It's real fun. Would you grab me the carton of milk out of the fridge, please?
Big one, little one.
Big one. I don't think we had a little one.
No, we don't.
Okay.
My hand's gotten better.
One thing I did want to talk about, since I'm talking about freshness and all that. Um, so this bottle, let's see if that is a little closer. There we go. So this is Best By June 17th. So it's very fresh. Um, United States, milk has to be good for at least, depending what state you're in, 7 days after the Best By date, by the sell by date. Well, this one's now says Best By, not sell by. That's a little
They're
different.
saying it's the same.
Yes, well, same thing.
The word means the
I know in Florida, where we were from, it was 10 days because of the hot weather. Milk had to be pasteurized to the point that it was good for 10 days. But so that's after the date on the bottle. It's not an expiration date. I know a lot of people that as soon as it hits that date, they throw the milk down the drain, and you really, really shouldn't. Instead, if you're creeped out by drinking milk that's past the date on the bottle, that's okay. Make some cheese. Don't throw it away.
And if you're
Really,
like me,
really simple.
I have him sniff it.
Yeah, she can't do the sour milk thing. In fact, even if it gets sour, I made a batch already yesterday, as I always do. I made, for the magic of TV,
It wasn't
I
sour
did
milk.
make cheese, and I had a half a gallon of very sour milk. It would have sent Mindy into the bathroom.
I
Uh,
would gag.
Yes. So it was very good, and it makes very nice cheese. It helps the milk separate better when you need to do that, and it gives it a little bit more tart flavor. So, and it's totally fine because we heat the milk to 180 degrees, so there's really no pathogens left. Okay. And you want to talk for a couple of minutes about
So when you
dairy?
cook dairy, what we're doing is going to be pretty interesting. When you drink kefir, even if you're lactose intolerant, basically in the process of fermentation, it gobbles up all the sugars, and most people don't have the digestive issues when they drink whole milk or fresh cheese or fresh ice cream because of the fermentation that occurred in making the kefir. Um, prebiotics, probiotics. Prebiotics are your grains, your fibers, um, your pulses. We've been playing a lot, like we did last week, using chia seeds. I saw a recipe on the package that says to use it in place of egg, like you do with flaxseed. Personally, unless I'm making poppy seed bread, I don't think I would use it in anything unless I'm making brownies or something that's dark in color, so you don't see the little black specks floating on it.
So, what's in milk that makes it good for you in dairy products?
It's got protein.
Okay,
a very good source. It's got vitamin D, which
Okay.
is typically added
Yep.
because most of us do not, especially if you live in the northern parts, get enough vitamin D. Calcium for bone strength, and just generalized good calories.
okay. So overall, milk is pretty healthy. So if you're lactose intolerant, you can,
You
Yeah.
can buy Lactaid. You can buy, there's A2, which is if you have a protein problem with the milk. It actually was developed by Coca-Cola, which I
Okay.
found very interesting. You know, you have a soda company making milk now.
they're in the beverage business.
They're in the beverage business.
See, we're both tongue-tied today. Sorry.
And I haven't even had a drink yet.
Yeah.
Milk is good. If you're lactose intolerant, you're not going to drink as much, and that's fine. If you're vegan, you could use other sources to even make kefir. You could use coconut beverage. You could use oat beverage. You could use cashew beverage. You could use almond beverage.
Or you can actually, we were going to talk about that when I made this. There are certain brands out there, different ones there. When I make the kefir, I'm going to show you. You can, for the first batches, you can buy starter. Okay. And this is a little sachet filled with a gram of little tiny granules. And there are 20 billion good, healthy bacteria, 8 different strains in one little packet, 20 billion. Okay. Now you can use this. This is typically just 1 or 2 uses, I understand. Then there's also what's called grains, and they're a little bit bigger. They're like seeds, and those you can introduce, and then you can strain them out after you make the kefir, and then you can put them back in a little bit of milk and put them in the refrigerator. It'll be like a sourdough
You
starter.
could also use
they-
it as a
And they,
sourdough starter.
no, eventually. You can continually go with that and keep using it, but it doesn't taste the same. It's not as consistent. So these usually are pretty good. It's okay.
Yep.
I did, but I'll turn it up a little bit more.
Let's see, I check the upper.
I'm checking my milk because the secret to this is getting it up to,
180.
right. Okay, I need another 30 seconds and I'm done. Now, if you notice, you can do this in the microwave, do my Vanna, or you may do it on the stove top. So either one works, but we have to get the milk up to 180. Now you can use any level of milk you want. You use whole milk, 2%, 1% skim, whatever you like, whatever your fat levels need to be. Milk fat does have cholesterol. It is an animal fat, but we do need a certain amount of it. And like about 15% of your fats can be saturated.
Your
So
brain
which is fine.
functions on cholesterol.
Thank you. There we go.
You got that one up, this one dropped down.
Because I turned it down. Sorry. We're almost there. I'm going to do the kefir first. Now, I'm going to pretend to do this.
Mm-hmm.
So here's my hot milk. To make the kefir, like Key-Fir, like the tree, kefir, you heat your milk to 180 again to kill the pathogens. Now, you can also use raw milk. You hear that, Christina? You can use raw milk, no problem. You make raw milk cheeses all the time, but you still want to heat it. And then before we add these granules, it needs to cool down back down to 75. Now that's going to take quite a while, so I'm not going to use this right now. But basically, let's pretend, open, pour, stir, then put it into a sterile container, okay? And do it 2 ways. The directions on this one particular one says to put it in an airtight container. Other ones say you can use a cheesecloth. Remember when we made yogurt? Okay, so you can do either. I did make the batch straight with as the directions said, and did it with a sealed airtight lid, and it came out was good. Is good.
I like tartness.
but it's a little bit thin and not quite as tart. So you leave it out in a room temperature, 75, 76, 77 for 24 hours. Once you add this, you got to wait till tomorrow. And then you put it in the refrigerator for another 8, let it cool down for overnight, and then it's ready. So this is what we made from this milk. Now think about this. I used a half gallon, no, this is a quart. I made a quart of milk, which costs what? About $1, right?
Give or take where
Yep.
you live.
The seeds cost $1. Those $2 plus or minus, or if you're on a farm, free. So how much does a quart of kefir cost in the
Anywhere
store?
from $3.50 to $7.
Right. I average between 5 and 6 when you go to the stores. So this costs you 2. Now, this is plain, which is delicious, but if you want to make it taste like the flavors, all we have to do, I didn't pull those out. We want to make it flavored.
A little bit of it.
Okay. That's fine. You can put that down and just grab your strawberries.
And
So
trying
I'll
to
pull this over. Like most kefir, you give it a little stir, a little shake. It'll taste a little bit plain. See that? See how nice that is? Looks like thick cultured milk, which is exactly what it is.
And also, when I was reading the directions, if you use the cheesecloth method, you don't want to keep it on. What we did is we put it on the stove with the light above the stove on, and it kept it right at 75 degrees. Remember, don't be cooking other products if you're using that open container, because the potential of flavors will go in. Will
Right. Put
transfer
some
in the
onions and
product.
garlic, and they'll transfer in there, and you'll have garlic flavored kefir, which may be delicious. I don't know. But
Never
here we
seen
go. Cheers. Here's our kefir. Lovely. So Mindy wasn't happy with the first result. It was a little bit thin, not quite tart. So we took part of it, put it in a jar, and did put the cheesecloth on top of it and let it sit out for another 8 hours. Brought it out of the refrigerator, let it sit. It did tighten up, did get
Here's the
tangier, much tangier. You know, this was over the top of the jar. And very good. Now, if you like your kefir sweeter, you can just take this away, take yours away. It's delicious. I will drink the rest of it. So good for you.
I
Just
bought the plain
take some
kefir
fruit.
in the store.
These are not sugared, these strawberries are just very ripe. Oh, and then you put a little bit.
I put a
She probably
teaspoon.
put like, yeah, she doesn't use hardly any sugar. So put some in there. A little bit of that juice. One more. Think of very strawberry. Strawberry, blueberry, mixed berry, peach, you know.
Mango.
Look in the store and you can see all the different kefirs that are available. I have the it's next to you.
I'm gonna get it for you.
I didn't plan on this. Is ad lib, putting the flavor.
Will that fit in there?
Yeah, sure it will. Better. All right, I'm gonna have to come. Oh no, it won't. Oh,
Here we go.
bad on me.
Here you go.
Okay, here we go. That's what this is made for. There we go. I'm still going to have to bring it over here. There we go. And just give it a there we go. All done. Now we have strawberry kefir, just like at the store. There we go. Ooh-wee. That's good cooking.
Justin Wilson.
Anybody remember him? Justin Wilson, the New
From
Orleans chef,
New Orleans.
years ago. That was his favorite thing. But isn't that beautiful? Great color. And just enough strawberry. I left it a little bit chunky, which is nice. or you can keep pureeing until it's really smooth. So that was kefir. Can anybody out there make kefir? You think so? Maybe. You know, try it if you love kefir. If you haven't tried it, you should. But as Mindy said, it's a great probiotic. It's basically 98% lactose free. So if you're intolerant, you have no excuse. And it's just good for you. You drink it. I mean, honestly, we just slug it right out of the bottle
I could
in the
tell
morning.
you a story about it.
Or you can pour it on things. You can use it any way that you wish. Now, the other point I was going to make, if you want, if you don't flavor it with some of the other products, I haven't tried it with this one yet, but you take a half cup of your kefir and just put it in the refrigerator. You can make another batch, heat the milk, and then let it cool down, then add that half a cup to this batch, kind of like a sourdough again, and it should re-ferment and regrow because there are live cultures in there. They should grow. You can get a couple good batches out of it, so even lower your cost even more. Okay,
Got it down to 175. My story
that's fine.
is
Go ahead, tell your story about your grandpa.
my grandfather. He lived in a nursing home. I was probably 10 or 11 when he moved into the nursing home. And he always had
It's good.
75 a glass of milk on top of his TV set with a paper towel on top of it. And the staff would come in and try to take it away from him. And he would flip out. And I finally realized he came from Russia. He was making his own kefir. Back then, the milk wasn't as pasteurized, so it would ferment relatively easy on top of it. He lived to 86, so there must have been something good about it. And he also decided he was allergic to meat and he became a pescatarian when he was about 60.
Did you put this in the refrigerator?
I can't do that.
Kefir tomorrow when it cools down tonight, because our grandkids love it. They just drink it. And we drink like a half a cup, something like that. I mean, they drink glassfuls of it. They just,
At times.
can we have kefir? Yes, we do. Okay. Now they know we have the homemade. Okay, let's move on. So I'm going to make ricotta cheese. What do we need to make ricotta cheese? I need hot milk that is 180 degrees. Okay. This is a little cool, but it'll be all right. You need
What's 180 dropped down?
a cheesecloth. Okay. A nice cheesecloth right here. Everybody that I sterilized. Okay. There's a piece of muslin cheesecloth. I sterilize it by putting it in a bowl and poured boiling water over it. Everything needs to be really clean if you're going to make cheese. Okay. Even your hands.
Even
If you're worried, wear gloves.
I mean,
gotta
raw
wash them.
cheese, didn't they ban
They
raw
were
cheese.
tried to ban raw cheese.
coming into the country?
There are things, Parmigiano Reggiano, Gorgonzola, those are raw milk cheeses. We're not going to stop eating raw milk cheeses. Nothing wrong with them if they're made properly. So this is a quart of milk. I'm making a half batch for my recipe I'm going to put online because 2 quarts of milk make it, like I said, a cup and a half ricotta cheese. So it's not a whole lot. I'm just gonna make a small batch here for this because I have more made. So we take the hot milk. This is lemon juice. It's a quarter cup to the 2 quarts, a third of a cup to 2 quarts. So I've got just over a couple tablespoons. Pour that in. I got a pinch of salt and just keep stirring until I may need to add a little more. The milk's not quite as hot. If I heat it up, it's going to turn into curds real fast. Okay. So
Warming up the milk.
I'm using lemon juice. You can use
Go ahead.
vinegar, white vinegar, or you can use citric acid if you know where to get citric acid. It's not that hard to buy. It's also in markets. Used to sell it as sour salt. That's what they put in.
Pickled.
All the powdered lemonades and those things. Anything that has a lemony sour flavor, they use citric acid. It is very acidic, and it will turn your cheese as well. You need to dissolve that in water, but for home use, vinegar and lemon juice are just fine. They will make this happen very easy. So, all right, let's
Cranking it up a
just
little.
give me a little more lemon juice, please. I may not have measured properly. Right on the door,
It is.
on the door. Yes, right
There.
there.
In the green bottom.
You got too much green around you.
Hold on.
Place it in there.
I will.
The milk really should be steaming, which mine is now. Let's get back to the 180.
Almost there.
Getting close. I don't want to spend too much time. It's getting there. It's almost done. So I didn't want to be standing here stirring at the stove. That's why I didn't bring my little stoves out.
Talk about chicken and cheese,
Yeah.
the products.
So once I add the lemon, I have it here so that you'll be able to see it curdle. Don't be afraid of the curds. They're perfect. That's what we want. Curds and whey, right? Like Little Miss Muffet sat on the tuffet. Same basic process. So we can make cottage cheese. We can make all sorts of cheeses. There's some good websites out there, cheese making websites where you can buy a lot of the products. I do have, like, if you want me to make mozzarella, that'll be something else I'll do one day. But it's a little more complicated because here's the citric acid. Here's a little bag of citric acid, just crystals. But from this one place, this provider out in New England, and they are cheese makers. I'll give you a hint. I have rennet, okay? And rennet was made, the animal rennet is made from the lining of a cow's stomach, which, you know, the acid in your stomach makes everything curdle. I'm sure you've seen that, or
Sure.
you've tasted it when you have reflux.
Excuse me,
So
sir.
now they make vegetable rennets. They're very acidic, and also calcium chloride, which is used to set cheeses up. Certain ones need to be firmed up. Okay, so we there? Now, sometimes I do use more lemon juice because depending what I'm going to do with the ricotta cheese, if I'm making a dessert out of it or something I want it lemony, it's no problem.
And since we don't use salt, it gives a little bit of tartness.
There we go. Let's get everything out of the way here so we can see it. All right. Can we see that now? See how it's curdling?
Ew, it really looks like sour milk.
Yes, it's just curds and whey right now. Whey protein. See the water?
Most
And
of your supplements.
you see the
Got
curds.
Power builder.
Okay. Now, what you really want to do is allow this to sit for 10 to 15 minutes. You can try and pull the curds in from the outside to the center a little bit. The longer you wait, the firmer the curd will be. Okay. We'll let it sit for a minute while I talk. We won't go the whole 10 to 15. Oops. But I think
Oops.
you get the gist of it. Okay.
So
Did I mess that up totally?
not too bad.
Not too bad.
The whey, if you drink any supplements or use the protein powders or any of the mixes, they use the whey for the protein.
Right.
So it's not, you don't have to waste it. You can put them in your put the whey in your milkshake.
Yep. Or I have a bottle of it in the fridge that we saved because it's also, you can use it for sauce making. You can use it for dog food. You can boil it down until it dries out and you just get the whey powder. But this will make fabulous sourdough starter. Rather than using water, this will increase the fermentation and the flavor of the flour to make a sourdough
Put
starter.
that in it, the apple peel in it.
Oh, yeah, you can try all sorts of different things with that. So now what am I going to do? The process for this is I'm going to move this over. I'm burning my hands.
The large bowl or the small bowl?
The small bowl, like I did, as this sits too far down. So you have your muslin cheesecloth. Okay. I got it. We're there.
Don't want it to flip.
It's not going to flip. I'm good. And we're going to use a skimmer and pull the curds out. You can pour them if you want, but they tend to break up a little bit. So I like to do a little old fashioned and use a strainer like a spider or, something. This has a nice fine mesh. Okay. I'm going to scoop those out, put them in here, and let them drain. And I'll show you that in just a minute. I'm going to let the water drain through. And then depending on how long you let it drain is how firm and dry your ricotta is. If you want a real nice, moist, creamy one, let it drain for 5 minutes. Other ones, I mean, really dry ones, they go for a week. But I've done, even after a couple of hours, it's really pretty dry and compact. Okay. So very nice. If you want to cream it up, you can stir in a little bit of whole milk or cream, or what I'd like to use in the Aortic kitchen is evaporated milk. Okay. But usually it's just fine. Um, and you're going to need to do something with it because we're not using really very little salt. I put a pinch of salt in the milk. Okay. So it's going to be a little bit bland. So we need to, if you'll work with it, you always add
If
things.
it's bland, it doesn't really make a difference if you're making lasagna
Right.
out of it.
You're adding garlic and cheese and all sorts of stuff
Yeah.
to it and basil. So who cares? It's really good. You can spread it. Now, so the difference here, I'm going to do that, let it drain. When I make my cream cheese, same exact process. Once it drains, we take it to the sink, rinse it with cold water, and then let it finish draining, get all the way off of it. Let it till it's dry. I squeeze it out. I'll show you. Then you put it in a food processor and blend the heck out of it till it gets really smooth and creamy, and add some liquid. I use the evaporated milk again. I used about a quarter cup to my 2 quarts yesterday. So we'll see how it goes today. And then again, it's a little bit bland for cream cheese, which is fine. But if you make flavored cream cheese, put some chives in it. Make a
Carrots,
vegetable,
green
right,
onions, scallions.
scallions. You can do their peppers and onion type vegetable spread. You see it, Panera and all those places. You can do
Blueberries, whatever
fruit,
flavor you like.
almonds, whatever, make it your own thing. Walnut, honey. A lot of people love that one. I'm not quite into sweet stuff on my bagels, but it doesn't have to be on your bagels. Give me a sandwich, right? So that's what we do.
Especially with turkey, make a cranberry cream cheese spread
So I'm going to move
and
forward
put it
here
on salt-free turkey.
and show you. See how nice?
That looks like cottage cheese.
It sure does. So we just drop them into.
So cottage cheese basically is non-squeezed.
Well, in a sense, so they use the calcium chloride in that.
Excuse me, I want to try it. Not squeezed.
While it's hot. Yes. We drop it in here.
Salt-free cottage cheese. That is
That-
really
It
wonderful.
tastes good. Well, I guess we're making our own cottage cheese now too. Because ever since I have my dissection, I don't eat cottage cheese anymore. Because the stuff,
Even I
the
can't eat.
commercially made stuff is so salty. I mean, not on purpose, but it's the nature of the beast. But now that I eat a aortic healthy diet and just cook without added salt, you guys know everything. When you go out, if you go out to eat and you eat restaurant food, or it tastes really salty, right? You just like, wow. So
Sometimes you
that
need
cottage
salt if
cheese.
your blood pressure drops down too much.
Yes, we know that. We still get enough salt in our diet. There's enough
That's true.
added salt in all the foods we eat that I don't have to add any salt to my food, and easily hit the, depending where you are, the 12 to 1500 milligrams a day for a reduced sodium diet. I can get that from all the foods I eat. Heck, if you eat cereal, a bowl of cereal has like 250 milligrams of sodium.
And a cup of milk has 120.
Unless you eat plain shredded wheat, it has zero. Zero. Shredded wheat is our
Lots of fiber.
favorite
Our
cereal.
go-to
Okay,
cereal.
she wants me to taste this. Yep, very nice. So what I do, lift it up. Okay. See all the whey that's coming out of it? Now, can we move these together, ma'am?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Mhm.
Nice having
Then all I do is
horizontal handles.
I tied a string to my cabinet handle.
We were trying to figure out how to hang it, and this is what he came up with.
Well, I used to do this thing in my kitchens. Okay. If you can see that, just let it hang there. Again, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever we want to do. Okay. So you can see it twirling away. Now, for the purposes, again, let it just hang, right? When it gets to that point where you want it, like this hung for about 10 minutes. And this is the ricotta cheese. Look at how nice and formed that is. Okay. Really lovely. This is better than store-bought. Okay. Very little whey in it. And a lot of them do have whey is good, honestly. You want to make great lasagna, they have a products called Ricotta. So it's the ricotta cheese with extra whey added to it because it stays very firm and doesn't melt in your lasagna and stuff. A lot of big restaurant chains use it. That's a little chef secret. But you can take the whey and cook it down and get or buy whey powder as well. And then it's got higher protein too. That's high protein. They make high protein milk. What do you think they add?
Whey solids?
Whey. Whey?
Whey.
Whey.
Yes,
No.
whey.
Oh my
But
goodness.
I think
So,
we
yeah,
might
great.
stop this batch
I'm
and
going to.
make it as cottage
I'm
cheese.
no, I'm going to turn it into cream cheese.
Oh,
No, you don't want me to?
no, you can
See?
use that to make cream cheese.
Hmm.
Put your spoon back in.
I don't care.
Just for us.
Right.
Nice.
Is that good? Now, I want to turn this into cream cheese. Okay, Mindy wants to keep that other one, and you can scrape it out. So when it's ready, you can give it a little squeeze here, just to.
But where it's at right now.
It's
is
very
perfect.
hot. So open up the bag and just scrape it into, empty the bowl and go
We'll put it
offline,
into a
off cam or whatever. Yeah, there you go. Okay, there's my back again for you guys. So let's make this into some cream cheese. My handy dandy food processor. My mini food processor.
which we love. We have the big one, but
Okay, let's take about half of this. I want some of this to save for something, or do we not need it for anything? I can always make more. Oh,
yeah, it takes
wow.
so long.
Yes, it does. Okay, so this will be like a full batch of cream cheese. So this is what, a 12-ounce jar?
Mm,
Yes.
almost.
It says 500 mil,
Yeah. It's 2 cups.
almost 2 cups. Yeah.
It is 2 cups. It's over 2 cups.
Okay.
I think we need to add a little more whey to have a good cottage cheese.
Okay. Go right ahead. Want some from the
Clean
pot?
spoon. No, I need a clean spoon though.
That's okay.
Excuse
Would you
me.
like the whey from the pot,
Yes.
or do you want the cold stuff? You can just
No.
do it over there. Okay. Got ladles right there.
Mm.
Okay. She's trying. All right. Same thing. Now, I'm going to add, got that on. I've got my evaporated milk. There's a quarter cup of evaporated milk. We'll see how that goes. I love this little thing. Here we go. And we just let it spin. Doesn't take long. There we go. You want to get rid of all the lumps, okay? All of them. The cream cheese needs to be smooth. You know, if you start and stop your food processor, it mixes things. It makes, if they're like just spinning around in circles, stop, start, stop, start. It mixes everything. But this does need a little bit more milk. Every batch is different. Unless you're doing it in a, very controlled situation, like in a factory or something like that. Just about there. One more little dash. Okay. That off. Up. Now, get that.
This is like really fantastic
Bring
cottage
milk
cheese.
out of the way.
I put about a ladle of milk way
wait.
back into it.
Okay, that's not under the camera. There we
I'm
go.
handing it to you.
There we go. Lovely. Put some black pepper on that. And, you know.
Uh-huh.
No, here's the cream cheese. Look at that. I have a knife here. Now, this needs to go in the refrigerator and set up. Again, for till it's really not overnight is better, because right now it's a little thin, but it will set when after we put it in the refrigerator. Now I can show you what the
Finished.
good stuff looks like.
We didn't even plan on making cottage cheese, but it turned out.
So here is the cream cheese, and look at that. This consistency of almost whipped cream cheese, maybe a little bit firmer than
Which
whipped.
you know you pay a fortune for.
Right. So even more. And this cost me, gosh, some lemon juice and some milk. Nothing. So this will be really great. And again, flavor it up, do what you like with it. But it is quite delicious. In fact, I will show you, Mindy and I are going to share a little bite on a bagel here. What else, right? Now this bagel is warm. It's probably going to melt some of this maybe. Maybe, maybe not. Look at that. Now, do you put like 2 inches of cream cheese on your bagel? Or do you just do a schmear? I used to put about 2
An ounce
inches.
or two on each piece of
Yeah.
bagel.
Yeah, like this is maybe not even half of what I used to
And
use.
I'm sort of finicky about my bagels. I cut them in 3, and he used to yell at me constantly.
Eh,
Yes, you did.
I didn't care. I like the thickness and chewiness of the thicker bagel. She likes bagel chips.
I
So
do not. I just like having one whole bagel, but 3 of them.
watch the middle. Just like on TV. Wow.
Wow.
It is good, isn't it?
The cottage cheese is amazing. So we've learned ricotta cheese is just straining this until it's firm. To make cottage cheese, we drained it, and I added about a quarter cup of whey back into it. Could have pulled it out a little sooner.
Yeah,
maybe.
just could have
But
dropped
I
it in the
did
bowl.
have to chop it up. And it's not like when you buy the commercial one, you get these little squares.
That's that brand that's named after a flower. They cut theirs with a machine.
There's
and
more than one brand that does
cubes.
that.
Most of them, a lot of them are still the natural curds, but still, you can make small curds or large curds.
Large curds, I shouldn't have chopped it yet.
Yeah. Okay. So we made cottage cheese. We made beautiful ricotta, which is great. Very expensive, simple to make, only $1.
Cream
Okay.
cheese
And cream cheese
and
kefir. Right. Our lovely,
And
delicious.
they do make Kefir cheese, which is basically the same process, I would think.
Where's my Ricotta? Where's my ricotta?
We used it in the cream
Oh, I
cheese.
went into the cream cheese. That's right. Okay. Okay, I forgive myself. So there you have it, folks. Making
So this
cheese.
is wet ricotta,
Right.
otherwise known as cottage cheese.
Right. Very much. Oh, it was a great day. A lot of fun. If you do want me to make mozzarella, which I have all the ingredients to do that, that's a whole nother, that's like a program in itself. All right. Because we got to make it, we got to let it set, got to stretch it, and then make the balls and do all those great things. It's really fun. It's a great family activity. You got to have good hands with hot water because you work it in 175-degree water. It's pretty hot.
Yeah.
You can use spoons or gloves.
And we could also probably make homemade.
Oh, I wanted to show you something. So that, before I sign off, Leave these there. This is totally unrelated, folks. I got some new products today. I have a friend that's even in college. She belonged to co-op. She was a very much an organic, natural cook. This is back when I, rode my dinosaur. Um,
I
so,
also belonged to a co-op and was vegetarian for a number of years.
so if you want to know, so she sent me this link to this online company that does heirloom beans. Um, Now, this is not the name of it. This is just the mill. These are, there we go. This is, no, I'm looking, thank you. This is purple barley, Tibetan purple barley. Now, this is grown in the US, but they brought the seeds over from Tibet. All of these beans and stuff are grown on Native American reservations and supporting Native American businesses. So I really like that as well. I'm really excited to try this purple barley. Maybe we'll do something with this in our next program.
Whole. It's not
Yep.
been.
It's whole grain. It's not for soup because it's still got the stuff you use for soup is pearled barley, and that's been milled, so it doesn't have the bran on it. This is the guy calls pebble beans. If you look how small they are, and there's all different types mix of beans, all small, but they do look like little river pebbles.
So
right?
probably when he's sorting the beans, those are the smallest beans that are left.
And here's one I used to use when I was in the kitchens. It's called Jacob's Cattle, which I love it. And Christina liked this because they're a reminder of her cows. They look just like,
Spotted cow.
Spotteds or Appaloosa horses and things like that. And I got some cranberry beans too, which are the stuff you really should use if you're making pasta fazool. That's the Italian one, the cranberry bean. So we'll think about this. Our next show will be, well, we will have one before we go. We are going on break for a little while. So June 7th, today is the 4th, right?
Yeah.
5th.
July 17th.
19.
17 is Thursday.
No, June. 3rd Thursday.
June 3rd is the 19th.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
June 19th, we'll be back. And we have something planned for that. I don't remember. Maybe Josh does. I sent it out.
June 19th, we'll have something planned. We are not.
And then we're not doing the first week in July because it's July 4th weekend. So everybody have a good time. One time of the year, maybe you want to eat a hot dog. One hot dog a year isn't going to kill you. Okay.
I haven't found any salt-free hot dogs.
No.
Or lower fat salt hot dogs.
So
even.
We'll be back on July 17th for our next program. And we'll do something. If you want me to do one of these things, we can do maybe the barley, or we'll find something very summary. Maybe we'll be, who knows? I will put on my thinking cap and come up with programs. So
right on.
I'm running out of words.
Let's say hi to some people, huh?
Let's say hi.
Right on. So Velda and Christina, of course, was jumping in right away. And she says, I know, but once you get over 180 degrees Fahrenheit, it's no longer raw, when you were talking about prepping your milk.
Right. Absolutely.
That's right.
But we stop at 180 or just below 177 today, like that. But the point for making these cheeses, but you can make raw milk cheeses, if you know how. That's a much more controlled process. So because all cheese is, what's the definition of cheese, Christina?
She's going to be a bit behind us there.
Okay. Well, here's my quick definition: controlled spoilage of milk. That's all cheese is. All the fermented stuff, kefir, cottage cheese, yogurt, they're all just controlled spoilage of milk. So when using raw milk, we do have to be more careful. If you know what you're doing, you can do it. Like those guys in Italy, they know how to do it. The Parmigiano Reggiano. And
but those environments are unbelievably clean.
Yes.
Even.
Yes. So
the
you know what you're doing? That's cool. So anyone else?
She goes on to say, nothing is free. My milk ends up costing more than the store-bought. And I went, there it is.
That's true. That's true.
She says,
nothing in life is free.
She says, I make kefir on the counter in closed container. It doesn't need air. Mason jars work great with that stick mixer.
Mm-hmm. See?
It does.
And then,
watch this. So, yeah, go ahead.
And then she says, thank you for doing a dairy episode. That's awesome, Christina.
Yes, thank you.
Brandy joins the chat and says, moo. Now, I want to say earlier today, Christina threw something in chat and the YouTube demons ate it. And I think that happened again because she's got something in here about heat and I don't see anything in there.
What?
Heat.
Heat.
I don't know.
Oh,
When you were displaying some of your final wares, the beans and the
yes.
other thing, Christina had remarked that all looks lovely.
Thank you. And there are some great websites out there. This one was a little bit more expensive. If you want to know, just you guys know where to reach me. I'll give you the names. I don't need to put them on our program necessarily, but I did find, if I get in from these, I found some from another
Reservation.
another reservation, right? Another company, and it was like half the price, quarter the price for the same beans. So, I overpaid this time, but next time I won't.
We learn.
They're great. They're heirloom beans, and they're really wonderful. And it's a great change from those navy beans and kidney beans and red beans and the stuff we always get in garbanzos, CHEESEE.
I have to tell you, he made homemade baked beans the other night. That was out of sight. So good that my 5-year-old grandson just gobbled them up.
Always does. He eats too many of them. His mother yells at me because of the after effects.
And guess what he's having for dinner tonight?
Yeah.
Chili.
Yes. With my beans that I made. So yeah, baked beans would have been a great one for 4th of July if we did. Well, maybe we'll do it in July anyways.
Yep.
Afterwards, because very healthy, very delicious. All right. I'm rambling. I promise to be done in over less than an hour. We're just over the 45 line. So I want to say thank you so much for joining us. This is the Aortic Kitchen, which is sponsored by Aortic Hope, a 501c3 organization that helps with aortic disease awareness and survivors helping survivors. So please push that like button. There's a donate button somewhere. If you want it, we're all volunteers. Nobody gets paid for anything. So we appreciate that. So we will be back in 2 weeks from tonight. This is Chef Rob, the Aortic Chef, saying good night.
Mindy Seltzer, the aortic dietitian, saying have a wonderful weekend and don't go outside for a couple days with the smoke,
Sahara dust cloud.
the Sierra dust cloud and the Canadian fires.
Yes, if they're reaching you. All right.
Protect your lungs.
Good night, everybody.
night.
Thanks for joining us.